Welcome in, welcome back, all the things. It's been a rough day. It's been a very annoying day. You know, I wasn't even gonna film this because I was in such a bad mood. But then I realized I actually enjoy talking about books. So, like, maybe this will help. I just fake tanned. I apparently live in fake tan. So, like, I don't know when you're gonna see me when I don't have unwashed fake tan on me. And I spilled the bottle everywhere. So that was fun. You can, like, it's just, like, it's not going well. And I'm still, like, kind of sticky. This is what's getting me. This part of my arm, it's gonna be bad tomorrow. And I tried to fix it, but that's what made me spill the bottle. And I spilled the bottle in my mitt. So my mitt is just, like, kind of drenched. In the chaos, I got it really wet. So it's just, if I had put it back on my arm, it would have messed up the whole arm. So I'm leaving it. I'm just gonna have a messed up elbow. But I made myself a little cocktail to maybe make myself feel better. But I'm in a bad mood because I finally got my car back and the air isn't fixed, which is one of the main things I told them to fix. So I brought it back in. They were like, oh, you have to bring it to Goodyear. I said, okay. Went to Goodyear. They said, no, they didn't do it right. You have to go back. I said, okay. Went back. They said, no, it's actually completely right. So you need to go again. I said, okay. Because now that it's the end of the day, I don't have time. And also, it's Friday. So now I have to wait till Monday to get my car fixed. So I'm going to be driving around sweating again for another weekend. I cried just a little bit. But now we're back. We're here. We're going to talk about books, okay? And I've been waiting to talk about these books. I had such a good month. But I'm not going to go in order. I'm actually going to go in order of rating because my energy is low and I feel like the more I talk about the books, my energy will go up. So I want to save the best for last because I start off with the best one and I can't talk about it in this energy right now. I just can't. There's my stack. A couple of them I don't own, so they're still Kindle books. I read 9 total books, okay? 9. Last month, I did My Name Picks My TBR, so I had 7 books on my TBR. Out of the letters of my name, I did not read K. I read E, did not read N, did not read D, but I read A, L, and L. I didn't do, like, terrible. For the first time, I think that was one of the first times I fully gave myself a TBR to follow, and I did better than expected, okay? Because I read other books at the same time, outside of the TBR. I read, as I said, 9 total books. Are you kidding? Please? Muggs and I are big time beefing today. I can't do it. She has gone under my feet and tripped me thrice. One of them made me spill my drink right when I got here. Anyways, okay, back to the books. 9 total books. 4 were romances. Subcategory, there was 1 dark romance, 2 sports romances, and then 1 just like normal romance. 1 YA, 2 fantasy, 1 horror, and 1 thriller. That is a wide range of books. The genres, all over the place. So I calculated the pages I had, but the thing is, the majority of these pages are, obviously because I read the tandem this month, but I didn't read the entire tandem in this month. I probably read half of each this month. But I have no way of knowing what pages I read, so I just put all of them in this month, obviously. So it was probably like minus 600 pages out of that. Not my problem. In the 9, 4 of them were physical books, 3 were audiobooks, and 2 were Kindle books. And I've realized something. I feel like every time I do an audiobook, it's not that I'm not listening, because I am. I'll even rewind if I feel like I didn't fully grasp it, but I don't connect to them as well. Like, typically my audiobooks are lower rated books. So I don't know if that's just a coincidence or what, but alright, and then I'm gonna tell you my least favorite and my favorite of the month. So my least favorite was Lovely Bones, coming in at a 2.75, and then my favorite, which these were close. There were 4 contenders for the favorite. Oh, I don't even have it. Oh, yes I do. Yes, I do. Hold the phone. Literally, what am I thinking? My favorite, it was my only 6-star read caught up. I had to do it. I did. The tandem was a contender, and there was another contender too, but I had to do it. The average rating for the month, surprisingly, was a 4-star. That's like pretty high. I'm very happy with that. There were a couple that brought it down, but overall, they were really good books. So I'm gonna go in order of worst to best. So, The Lovely Bones, if you have not seen this movie, the movie is so good. One of my favorite like murder mystery type movies, because it's told from such an interesting point of view. It's told from Susie, the girl who was murdered, her point of view, kind of like in the afterlife, watching her family. And in the movie you get to watch her family kind of like look for who the murderer is, and it's very like, it feels more high stakes. It feels like you're in there, and it like a shorter timeline, just like very interesting. The book, however, it feels different because, okay, it starts out really good. Just like in the movie, it starts out normal, Susie's alive, and then it tells the story of how she was murdered. I was really liking it at first. I was like, perfect, it's gonna be just like the movie. And then when she dies, obviously, it stays in Susie's point of view. So the entire book was told in the perspective of, my mother did this, my father then said this, and then my brother said that. And that, I didn't really like that, because obviously in the movie, you're just watching it happen. You aren't being told by Susie what happened. But the whole book, you're being told by Susie what's happening from her point of view. So I didn't love that, because it kind of just took me out of the story a little bit. Also, it focused a little bit more on her story, like in this heaven, this afterlife, which didn't really happen in the movie, and I didn't really like it at all. I was super bored the entire time we were talking about her afterlife thing. And like I was just kind of confused too. Like there was another girl there, and I don't know. I just didn't really like when we focused on her. I liked the high stakes looking for her murderer part of the movie, which I feel like just wasn't that big of a part in the book. I also, just the whole it feeling more high stakes. We know who the murderer is. We saw it happen in the very beginning. In the movie, we spend the entire movie trying to figure out who it is. In the book, I feel like we just kind of went through the stages of her family's life after her death. So it kind of lost me and was just kind of bored. And then one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie is when her sister breaks into Harvey's house because she feels like he did it. And it felt so high stakes, so scary. I was on the edge of my seat the entire scene in the movie. And it was so anticlimactic in the book. Like, okay, she did it and that was it. Just really fell short. So for that, it is a 2.75. So I didn't even go in order. This one is lower rated. This is probably like a tie for my least favorite of the whole month. Love in the Time of Serial Killers. I thought the plot of this book was going to be, this girl moves into a new house. She has this neighbor who's like hot, but she has this feeling that he's a serial killer. And I thought the whole plot was gonna be her like in a comedic way trying to like pin him on being a serial killer, when it is the like smallest little subplot joke of the entire book. In reality, she moves into this house across the street from this guy who, for one chapter, she was like, he's kind of giving serial killer vibes. And then by the next chapter, she's flirting with him, and like, it's just used as a joke. Like, oh, I thought you were a serial killer when we first met. It's just like, I don't understand the concept of the serial killer joke when it had nothing to do with the plot really at all. She just was into true crime. The way it was the title of the book and had absolutely nothing to do with the story, if I'm being so honest. I felt zero connection to both of these characters, didn't care about them or their feelings. And I feel like we went from you're a serial killer and you're weird to you're kind of cute and I have a crush on you, and then like randomly one chapter she's kissing him and then they have sex, and then she's like pushing him away because she doesn't want to do it or like be together, and then all of a sudden they're in love. I was so confused. This was an audiobook, so like maybe the audiobook took me out of it. I don't know. I just did not enjoy anything of this book, really. Didn't understand the plot, didn't understand the love story, didn't like either of the characters. So I got a 2.5. Okay, next, I finally read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. There's not a whole lot positive I can say, but not negative. I have nothing truly negative to say about the book. No, I have nothing truly positive to say about the book as well. It is the most 3-star rating I could ever give a book. What's up?
That Dusty especially. They're wanting constant attention, and Dusty being a freakazoid. Hey, Mugs.
Mugs and I are beefing. She tripped me 3 times.
Mugs, what are you doing?
I was so pissed at her. Mommy came in to talk, so I went to get a refill. Back to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Honestly, I did not care at all. I just had trouble caring from the start, because this whole book was about finding out what happened to this girl, but the girl was awful. So like, why would I care? Like, it was very reminiscent of Pretty Little Liars with Alison De Laurentiis. Like, she was this terrible, mean girl, apparently. So, like, why do I care what happened to her? And then I was never given the opportunity to care for Sal because they didn't give us anything. So I also didn't care about fighting for his innocence, like, at all. And then I didn't connect with Ravi. He just didn't do anything for me. And I hated how he called her Sarge. I truly never felt anything high stakes. Like, I just felt like we were going step by step by step what happened in an excruciatingly so way. Even though she was being threatened, I never thought anything bad was gonna happen. Like, nothing was high stakes. Pretty Little Liars felt more high stakes than this. This just felt like a little kid talking it out, figuring out what happened to this girl that I didn't care about. So, and I even tried to watch the show. I made it maybe 10 minutes into the first episode, didn't care. So 3 stars. Okay, next was Lights Out. I gave a 3.75. First half, 4 stars, maybe 4.25. Second half, quickly brought it down. We started with this whole idea that she follows this guy, this really hot guy on TikTok who does lives. She screenshots one of his lives of him. He does like hot lives without like showing his face, wearing a mask, basically. So she sends it to this guy she used to hook up with and is like, would you be into this, basically? And he's like, no. And so he shows it to essentially make fun of her to his roommate, and the roommate is the guy. So at first I was eating it up. I was like, this is literally hilarious, and I'm eating it up. So he turns, the mask guy turns into the like Zayd wannabe from Haunting Adeline, like the stalker, hot stalker, but not in a creepy way stalker, if that adds up. She's super into it literally from the beginning. He basically makes it known to her that tell him to stop and he'll leave her alone, and she doesn't, and she's like very into it. So I was very into it for the first 150 pages, and then something happens to the plot where it would have been fine if we had let it go, if we had dealt with it and let it go, but this one thing that happened to the plot became the rest of the plot. So we went from hot mask stalker, like a cat and mouse type of deal, to we're kind of together now just as a ordinary couple dealing with this road bump. And I felt a complete 180 in his personality. Like, the first half personality was super hot, super cocky, super arrogant, and like, I'm gonna stalk you because you're hot and I'm hot type of vibe. Second half was, I have daddy issues and I need help. And that didn't do it for me. None of the last half did it for me at all. Read at your own risk. If you finish it, I told you so. I'm warning you now that it will start good and it will get bad. So. Okay, next up. Oh, I don't have it. I hate not having the book. It's the 4th book in the Windy City series, so it's play along. It is about the little brother of our main character in Caught Up, which I will talk about later. Isaiah, the brother who plays baseball, okay? Like, he's supposed to be, I think, like 23, and just like the flirty, loves to go out and have a good time baseball player, likes to make everyone laugh, that kind of guy. And then Kennedy, who works with the team as a team doctor, who's supposed to be like, she's an athletic trainer, but she's like, her boss is super sexist and like hates women and like doesn't treat her right. We start out, I'm trying to do this in a way that is quick and concise, and I'm not gonna do a good job. We start out with Kennedy is on a bachelorette trip in Vegas. Isaiah is on a team trip in Vegas at the same time, accidentally. They didn't know. They run into each other. Isaiah has spent the last 2 or 3 years or whatever being obsessed with Kennedy, and Kennedy like lets him flirt with her. Like, he outwardly flirts with her, and she's like, bye, because she used to be engaged. And then one day she's all of a sudden not wearing a ring. Isaiah realizes and lays it on deep and is like, oh, if she's single, I'm being serious, so I'm gonna stop talking to any other girl and I'm gonna go only for Kennedy. So Kennedy, knowing he's like a player, like doesn't take it seriously, so just like lets him flirt and thinks it's a joke. She also has like huge connection issues and like doesn't like to be touched, doesn't like to be treated like a girlfriend, basically. All right, fast forward to Vegas. They run into each other. The bachelor trip she's on is actually for her old fiance that dumped her. It's now her like stepsister or something, like sister-in-law, I don't know, but it's like a very close connection. So she is stuck going because she's related to the girl. So she's like, I hate my life, basically. Kennedy is so drunk and somehow talks Isaiah into getting married in Vegas to be like, stick it to them, like fuck them, basically. Like, I don't still like them. And it's like so unlike Kennedy that part was a little unbelievable for me. I was just like, I don't care how drunk you get. I don't really believe that. She's so type A and so on top of things. Never used to even hang out with the baseball team because she didn't want to get in trouble. That she drunkenly would be like, Isaiah, do you want to get married? That just felt unbelievable, which was the whole plot of the book. So I went in kind of annoyed because I didn't believe it, but Muggs never goes back there. But it did grow on me. The whole plot of like play along is they come back there, she freaks out immediately the next day and is like, we need to get this annulled. Like, we're getting it taken care of immediately. He talks her into not getting it annulled and playing it out for the year because she's trying to get a job somewhere else. And if she causes any issues or gets fired or anything like that for, you know, causing a ruckus, basically, she won't get the job. So Isaiah talks her into just going along with it, playing out as like the husband and wife on the team. And then they get, of course, it's like forced proximity because they put them in the same room and stuff like that. And he helps her like get away from her issues with like connection. And it's very sweet and cute. And Isaiah is the cutest little puppy dog retriever I've ever read. I love him with all my heart, but I feel like he deserved better, at least in the beginning, because she just rubbed me the wrong way constantly. Like, she was always like dogging him. But then, like, you know, once we got past her issues with like pretending to be with him, it was fine and I liked it a lot. Plus, we got bits of all of the other characters from the other books who I'm obsessed with. But let me look at my notes so I know. Can you please not? Once we turned it into him genuinely trying to help her work on her like intimacy issues, it honestly felt more, she felt more relatable and I could understand where she was coming from. That being said, loved the book. Ended up loving the book as a whole, obviously. I gave it a 4.25. The next book is about Rio, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Because Rio, I liked him in the beginning. I thought he was the funny single side character. But every single time he was in this book, all he was doing was talking about how single he was. Every single scene he was in, he was talking about being the single friend. And it honestly got very annoying. I say in here I like how she ended it with a happy ending, and I literally don't even remember the happy ending. One of my biggest issues with this author, it was heavily in this book and in Mile High. I didn't notice it as much in the middle two books, but she repeats herself so much, especially with Kennedy. She would do it a lot when she was, it's in the inner monologue. It's always the inner monologue. She would be thinking to herself about the marriage. She would say to herself, the marriage started out fake, but now I'm not so sure anymore. I don't understand why we have to say it so many times. I know where she's at. I know where her head's at. I understand she's starting to like him, but she said it, I swear, after almost every single scene she had any type of scene with Isaiah. She did it so much in Mile High. In Xander's point of view, I just, like, the entire time he was like, everyone thinks I'm a bad person. I'm a good person. You know, I don't understand why we have to repeat ourselves over and over and over again. It wasn't that long since I last read the exact same thing. I remember how she feels. I promise you, her feelings did not leave my brain. I don't need to be reminded of it every single time they have a scene together. But anyways, it sounded like I didn't like the book. I did really like the book. I read it on my Kindle and I want to buy it. I want a physical book of all of these because I liked them so much. But I would say that one's probably my third favorite out of the four, above Mile High. But I like Xander's and Stevie more, but I liked this. I don't know. Honestly, they're kind of tied right now in my head. I'm going to get the tandem out of the way. I'm not going to talk like heavy detail because I did talk in heavy detail in my other video about where I read them, and I'm not going to spoil anything. So obviously, tandem read. I have no regrets tandem reading. I think if I hadn't tandem read them, I wouldn't have enjoyed Tower of Dawn as much, but I ended up really, really loving Tower of Dawn. I gave Tower of Dawn a 4.5 and Empire Storms a 4.75. Which is the highest I've rated any of the Throne of Glass books thus far. They were all 4.25s up until now. Tower of Dawn, obviously, all new characters. Ended up really liking the new characters. I liked the story with our OG character. I even cried a little bit. The end wasn't exact. It was a little like, I don't want to say anticlimactic, but the end wasn't what I was expecting. But I'm happy with it. Like, I'm fine. Completely fine with it. And that's all I'm going to say on Tower of Dawn, I think. Yeah, that's all I got. Empire Storms, I've realized, because I'm comparing the series to ACOTAR, because it's the only, like, really big fantasy series I can compare it to. I feel like there's too many characters for me to fully connect to them. Like, I just feel like I don't have a special connection with any of them more than the others. They're all just kind of there. I don't feel like I would be distraught if any characters died, which is a weird feeling to have this deep into a series. But that being said, I think the writing is insane, phenomenal. I love how she wraps up books. I love how she plays out series where things from the very beginning come back full circle into these during the big moments. Love it. Obviously, you know, it's Throne of Glass. It's amazing. So I just don't have the connection like I do with ACOTAR, which I don't think I ever will again. So, all right, last two. One I don't own, but brother. I've talked about it in heavy detail in my reading how many pages I can in a weekend video, where I actually spoil most of it except the very end. But this book was so good. It is now my go-to recommendation for thriller, horror, anything like that. I think it's technically a horror book, but I gave it a 4.75. It was this close to a 5-star read. I think I can show this. Yeah. The only thing that held me back from a 5-star was the very end. It was one of those books where it doesn't give you a point, period, blank ending. Like, this happened. So that's the only thing that brought it down. But we follow Michael, who is a part of this family who basically kills people. They kill girls. And they live in like this secluded house cabin, basically, that's like really shitty and gross. And his job in the family is to like dismember the girls after they're dead. And he's the fastest, so he makes sure they like don't get away if they run. Her writing is so captivating. It's so, what's the word? Like, her imagery, is that the correct English term? It's like I'm watching a movie. It was so good. The characters weren't too like complex or anything. They were very like easy to understand and read. His brother Reb is insane, and you never knew what he was gonna do, so I was always on edge anytime Reb was in the scene. And basically the whole book is they both go to a record shop and meet these girls, and Reb like wants him to talk to this girl, but then like you can kind of tell he's just like setting him up to wanting to kill her, is like the vibe you're getting. I don't know, it's just like it's very, you can't trust Reb or anything he's gonna do, because he will flip his shit like that. And so I'm just like constantly scared, constantly feeling bad for Michael. I loved Michael. His situation was so shitty that I just wanted to cry for him the entire time, but so good. So good. And now that brings us to the book of the month. Caught Up, 6-star read. I've only given one other romance a 6-star read, and it was just for the summer. Caught Up took the next 6-star read. I ordered it so fast. This follows Isaiah's brother, older brother Kai. He's a single dad nanny trope, basically. So Kai is the pitcher he's like the best pitcher on the baseball team. The coach's daughter is this like huge pastry chef, like super, she's only 25 and has won awards, and she basically travels to all these different places to help their dessert menu get better. And she's feeling burnt out, so she takes a break and goes and visits her dad. He makes her be the nanny for Kai, who is this like incredibly overbearing dad, fires every single nanny he's ever had because he doesn't trust them, and he can't fire her because the coach is like, that's my daughter, get her out there, she's fine. I'm not even kidding. I have never been a main character more than this main character. She lived in her van. I want to do that. She has tattoos and a septum. She was a pastry chef. Every single thing they said about her, I was like, oh, I do that. Oh, that's literally me. It was one after another. 25 and like constantly wants to leave, like doesn't want to stay in one place. I was like, okay. Doesn't even know like if she wants to have kids, like that kind of thing. I was just like, why am I Miller? Like, I feel like I am Miller. She loves baseball players. Hello. She starts nannying for him. Instantly falls in love with the kid, obviously, because, you know, he's a cute kid. So the whole story is like, the difference in this book, I think that did it for me, is that they were flirty from the beginning. She was very outwardly flirty from the start, like calling him hot all the time. And he was just like, okay, like, you know, trying to be the dad. So he's like, I'm not like that anymore. Like, I can't go flirting around with all these girls. Like, I'm a dad now. I have different responsibilities that I need to tend to. And she's like trying to bring the fun back out of him, and the flirtiness is just, the banter is so good from the start. It's not even like there's no build up, because it happens right away, and I'm waiting for something to happen from like the chapter 2, honestly. So then when it does finally happen, amazing, so good. And they're trying to like navigate, because there's a deadline on this trip, because she needs to go back to her life and back to her job. She was just taking a like break, essentially, which I've realized is very similar to the plot of Just for the Summer. That's really weird that these two plots are very similar. It's like the whole single dad type trope, and the girl's visiting and there's a deadline on her trip. So I think that's very telling why both of those are 6-star reads. But it's like, I genuinely never knew what her decision was going to be or how it was going to wrap up. It's like you're waiting for her to make the correct choice, and you never know if she's going to, and I'm just ready to cry at the drop of a hat. I'm ready to sob the second she says a single word, basically. Absolutely stunning. And it has all the couples from the other books too, which I freaking love. I love interconnected series like this. So caught up, best one of the Windy City series by far. That's it for the wrap up. I think I'm going to actually, like, while I was doing all this, I was thinking about it, and I think I want to do an October TBR in this video, mostly because, like I've told y'all, oh my god, I'm so gonna spill this on my laptop. Logan and I are doing the readathon, the 1 year celebratory readathon later in October. So I want to give y'all the opportunity to pick my books for the readathon, because obviously I want to read what y'all want me to read. I'm going to post on my story and let y'all kind of give me ideas and choose what I read. Obviously this is in the past, so this has already happened. I haven't done it yet though, so hopefully y'all are gonna engage in that. And then I'll come back and put in what my October TBR is gonna be. Okay, so next time you see me, we're gonna do that. Okay, so that was so stupid. All right, it's time to do the October TBR for the readathon. Mostly for the readathon, but like also October. Like these books that lost could still like be read in October. The ones that y'all picked are like the ones that I'm gonna try and read for the readathon. First update, I made my coffee this morning and accidentally poured buttermilk into the espresso instead of milk. So I'm out of my almond milk, and we usually have like little cartons of milk when my nieces come over for them to drink, and I thought it was one of theirs. No, it was just buttermilk. We have never had buttermilk in this house. Literally ever. So that was fun. I have to show y'all my house. Don't figure out where I am, obviously. I'm just trying to show you the decorations because my dad goes all out for Halloween. They're yelling at me from the front yard, but they're so freaking fun and cool, and I love them this year. But also, another exciting thing, I'm not even kidding when I say I literally almost cried getting this. Okay, I'm so excited. Oh my god, I didn't get scissors or anything. This isn't gonna be cute or clean because I never prepare for anything. But thank you so much, Bailey. Okay, y'all know how much I love the Pucking Around series. And so one of you, because y'all are all amazing and I love you so much, so thank you so much, Bailey, reached out to me because you were going to the signing. She's doing a signing in Florida and I cannot go that far away. But she went and got me some books from freaking Emily Rath. Her new book, Pucking Sweet, just came out like a week ago or so, and I have been itching to read it. I actually forgot to add it to the TBR, but she's gonna get read, like right away. I'm going to read Pucking Sweet right now. But look at this fucking box. Oh my god, I'm literally gonna cry. Every time I do this, I was just straight up showing you my address, so gonna have to put that out. Oh my god. It's a bear. It's a little bear. The author, Emily, had like these cool little takeaway thingies on the table, like when you got them signed. Are you kidding me? Look at this. This is all of them. I'm obsessed with the Pucking Around universe. I'm so obsessed with it. Ugh. They're all wrapped? You're kidding me. She got me a little... If you're new here, I love bears a lot. She got me a little blueberry bear. His name is Brunswick. He's got a little blueberry head. She also had stickers and a chapstick to give people. The chapstick says bathroom blowjob. If you've read it, you get it. Romance book club. You're probably not gonna be able to see these. That's so nice. Oh my god, it's a bear. It's Rachel and the boys. Oh. And then it's little hockey sticks with the gay pride heart. This is me freaking out. The wrapping paper? You're kidding. Let's do these first. This is literally like Christmas. This is so exciting. There are a bunch of pins, a little TBR. Oh, this is so freaking fun. Okay, so those are like bookish goodies. Oh, this is stunning. Lore of the Wilds. Look at this book. All magic comes at a price. Look at these edges. Are you kidding me? Oh, this is stunning. I'm getting overwhelmed with how exciting this is. Until the Stars Fall. Until the Stars Fall, live for you and you alone. Oh, stunning. Oh, you're kidding. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it. These are just the coolest books I've ever seen. Wow. I'm just in shock right now. Literally look at these two books that she sent me just for fun. Are you kidding me? On to the main event. First of all, look at this wrapping paper. They're little ghosts. That's adorable. Ooh. Okay, so it's Pucking Around and it's signed. Now I have 2 copies of this, so I can heavily annotate one of them. Ooh, and it's signed. You're kidding. This is the most exciting one. Oh. I'm kicking my little feet. There's my name. I want to get into this right now. She said, I make no apologies for how long this book is, but I will apologize in advance to anyone who has ever worked in PR for an actual NHL team. This will not be accurate, but I promise it'll be fun. I am so excited to get back into this world. I'm not kidding. Pucking Around, it instantly became one of my favorite books ever. Like, that entire universe, obsessed with it. Just absolutely obsessed. Obviously, to be obsessed with it, you have to kind of be open-minded to a polyamorous relationship, and I very much was, and ate it up. Every single fucking page ate it up. Literally some of my favorite, like, couples ever. Thank you so much, Bailey. This is just incredible. Now it's time to do the actual October TBR. Okay, so I posted on kind of like the, basically what Sarah Kroll used to do, where she would post the books with the emojis over top and let y'all kind of guess the books and then vote on which one you want me to read. Some of them I feel like were very obvious, and some I don't. I had to pull the emojis out of my ass. So some of the books I have and some I do not own. They are Kindle books, but the first one, I did the main color, obviously, which was the most on the book, and then I tried to do the background color, like the accent color. Okay, so the first one was the yellow cover with a dagger sword type thing with a fire heart, which literally, that's as perfect as I can get for Kingdom of Ash, because she's literally called Fireheart. And the sword's on the front. I could not have gotten a more perfect emoji. Thank you. All right, and the next, the blue with the pink, and then I did a little book and with a heart because it's a novel love story. Yes, perfect. Novel and love, okay? I couldn't have done any better. I don't know what else you wanted me to do, but I couldn't have done any better than that. Kingdom of Ash got 66% and a novel love story got 34%. 134 votes and 68 votes. So our first book nominated is Kingdom of Ash. My idea for this was I was going to try and start it before the readathon, because obviously if I sit down and read this in the readathon, cannot even promise I would finish the whole book. So I'm going to try and get a big chunk of it done before the readathon. All right, next I did the orange book with the pumpkin and the coffee. Again, just like a very obvious one. That one is the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, obviously. And then I did a purple book with the yellow background and with a smooch and someone cursing. So the kiss curse. I also do not know what else I could have done for that one. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe got 161 votes for 76%, and the kiss curse only got 51 votes at 24%. So the winner is the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which I was going to kind of just like hand in hand put it together with the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore because it's the second one. So depending on how it's going, I may read the second one as well. Okay, next, I don't own either of these, but I did kind of like the beigey writing of the book, and then I did the zodiac sign Leo because I'm a Leo, and then a school like teacher student type thing, and it's the Zodiac Academy. Like I don't know what else. That's just perfect. Like I'm a fucking genius at this. Okay, and then the next book was this like foresty green kind of. Also, like all you had to think was serpent and wing. There you go. Like, if you thought snake, maybe that could throw you off. But it's Serpent of the Wings and Night. I do not, to this day, know the title of that book. We had 64 votes for Zodiac Academy and 150 votes for Serpent of the Wings and Night. So, okay, this one, I had a feeling if you were in the fantasy world right now, you would quickly know which ones these were. But I'm not, I don't know. You had to let me know how well I did. If you guessed some of these or if you guessed them incorrectly, I want to know. But the first book, I have this like navy color with the back pinkish-esque background with a butterfly and a dagger. And that's Quicksilver because there are butterflies on the front and, you know, that long sword as well. And like the color of the like pinky color and the butterflies, that's what I was pulling from. And then next was this red book with a giant skull and a rose. Quite literally couldn't have done anything else. That's on the cover. So that's Phantasma. We had 78 votes for Quicksilver and 135 for Phantasma. So that was 63% versus 37%. So Phantasma is the winner there. I am already into Quicksilver a little bit, so I might just read that before the readathon. Next we had, okay, this one could have been my one. So I had a pink book, black background, a knife, tried to be a butcher knife, and a blackbird. So butcher and blackbird. That's about all I could do. And the next one, this wasn't so much like a fall read, but it was a book, like a quick read, and I know, like, I've been really looking forward to reading them. So it is a pink book with headphones and a dog. Those are on the cover because I didn't know, like, what else to make at all. Like, I did not know what to do for these emojis. That is the Happily Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. This is the last book of Abby Jimenez that I have not read, and I'm trying to read it before her next book comes out, just so that I have all of hers done. But Butcher and Blackbird won with 139 votes versus 74 votes. So that was 65% and 35%. Really, none of mine were that close. Like, they were all pretty one-sided. So I don't know if they were just really obvious and you wanted to pick certain ones or what. But those were all for mine. And then I also did Logan's as well. I struggled with Logan's. I don't know why. Hers were so difficult for me to figure out. So if you didn't know, if you couldn't guess these, I don't blame you. I'm the one who did them and I forgot what they were after a while. Okay, so the first one, I got like this really dark maroon. Like, I tried to go as dark as I could. And then I did a magic wand for magic, and then the little secret emoji. And it's Chamber of Secrets. It's Harry Potter. I tried to match the colors as well as possible, and then the magic and the secrets all I got. So full maroon book, and it had a rose and then a broken heart emoji. Okay, this was, I don't think anyone was gonna guess this because of how vague it was, but it's If Only I Had Told Her, and it's literally just because the book was red. There's a rose in the cover, and it's a sad book. That's all I had. But the results are 83 votes Chamber of Secrets and 118 votes If Only I Had Told Her, which is kind of shocking. If you voted and you didn't know which book was like what, like if you didn't know what the book was, I want to know why you picked it. Like, what made you pick the sad rose over the hush magic wand? Because I know she wanted Chamber of Secrets and that did not win. Next, we had the red book. This one, I didn't do a good job with these at all, I don't think, but whatever. This one was closer though. It was the closest one out of all of them, I think. A red book with black accents, and it was a wing with a black crow on it. I think that's a crow, if not just a black bird. That is 6 of crows. So I did the wing because that's on the cover, okay? It's on the cover. I think the red kind of threw it off because the whole book isn't red. That's what's throwing me off, honestly. I should have done like a gray or something. All right, and the next one, I don't know if anyone got this. I feel like either you got it instantly or as soon as I say it, you're gonna be like, oh, duh. But I did the green, like, emerald cover, and then it's 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So it's Evelyn in the middle with multiple husbands, and she's a bride. So I thought that was as good as I could get. I don't know. I assume some people were gonna think that that was just like a polyamorous book and it was like a gangbang book, but it wasn't. It's just 7 husbands. So the 7 husbands got 107 votes and 6 of crows got 97 votes. So that was a 54 to 46%, but 7 husbands won. Next we had, oh, I'm upset about this one. Okay. So I had a red book, a dagger, and a like bow and arrow crossbow thing. That is Reckless, okay? All I took from was the dagger on the front, and she uses a crossbow, so like, I think. So fantasies tend to run into each other in my head, so I think she uses a crossbow, or like a bow and arrow a lot. But anyways, the other one, I didn't think anyone was gonna get. Like, maybe based on the colors. Even the colors aren't even perfect, so I don't know. But it's the blue and green cover, and it's a girl with a broken, patched up heart and a boy, and it's normal people. So I guess Logan is ready to read Normal People, but Reckless got 127 votes, and Normal People got 69 votes. So it was 65% to 35%. That was a big jump in the opposite direction we wanted. And then last but not least, her last option, we had, wow, I'm just now seeing the winner of this one. Okay, we have a very purpley book with a kind of tealish background. It's not teal at all, actually, but it was supposed to be teal. And then a sword with a storm, and that is Empire of Storms. So that was kind of supposed to be the tandem read together. And then the next book was a... I did my fucking best with this one, okay? So I did that like navy-ish color from the cover, and then it's a woman on a run and trees. So it's Local Woman Missing. And I did the trees because of the cover, and the woman goes missing while she's on a run. Not that like you would know that if you haven't read the book, but that's all. I feel like if you know, and you get it, and it's good. But the trees, I think, threw people off. But if you guess Local Woman Missing, let me know, because thank you for getting that, because Logan thought it was stupid. Empire of Storms got 93 votes and Local Woman Missing got 105. So that one was close too. It was 53% to 47%. Okay, how fun. Okay, so I had 5 books picked. I actually do own one more. It's over there. Dang it. Okay, so my winners were Kingdom of Ash, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which kind of also goes with the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, Butcher and Blackbird, and then Phantasma, which I do not own, and Serpent on the Wings at Night, which I do not own. So those are my 5. Pretend the other 2 are on top, okay? All right, and Logan's books are Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica, Reckless by Lauren Roberts, 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and If Only I Had Told Her, the second 2, If He Had Been With Me, okay? We're each going to pick a book for the other person to read. So like I'm going to pick a book for her and not tell her, and we're going to reveal them on the day of, and she's going to pick something of mine. We're also going to do it here. We're back in the original OG spot, okay? It's going to be nice and comfy cozy. It's going to be great. It's going to be nostalgic. Also, if this is one of y'all's last chances, if there are any books in particular aside from these that you want us to read, go ahead, leave them down below. If there's anything special you want to see us do, now's the time. Your time is almost up for requests for the readathon, okay? But this readathon is for you guys, so we want y'all to be a part of it as much as possible. Request whatever you want. I don't care. We'll do it. But if you want to be a part of the readathon, put in your little requests now, and we'll give you a shout out for those of you who get to be a part of it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching the wrap up, the TBR. Thank you to all of you who voted. Anyone that's going to put a request in, thank you. Thank you to Bailey for sending me those, and for Emily Rath for writing one of my favorite series. And I think that's it. Get excited, get pumped, get hyped for the readathon. It's coming soon, way sooner than I'm ready for, but it's fine. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.